I'm originally from Boston, Massachusetts. The name of my business is Boss Man Credit Services. Is an endeavor that I am embarking on and looking forward to helping as many people as possible.
Okay. Do you have on another device? I'm hearing
Oh,
feedback.
I'm sorry, I do.
Just turn it down. Yeah. Turn
It's
it
the
down.
Facebook. I was watching.
Okay. All right. Because everybody's just kind of making sure that they're seeing what's going on. This is really great, you guys. So I'm really going to ask you to tap the share button because we want to get this information out. Now, Elder Darren reached out to me and said, Dr. Hooper, I'm now involved with credit. And I said, okay, I don't need it, but thank the Lord we have it because you never know what you're going to need. And so because he's part of Hooper Ministry Academy, I asked him to share one night just very briefly, and I was just blown away with what he has. Elder Darren, we were talking about evictions and debts and stuff like that that's happening right now, and particularly in the midst of this pandemic. Mm-hmm. So in regard to that, people that are under that moratorium and they have not paid the rent, let's say for a month, what could their credit look like?
Well, the credit could it could go against their credit for the simple fact that once a judgment is entered against them by a judge, it will go on their credit as a judgment. So that will sit on their credit anywhere between 7 to 10 years. There could be ways that could be removed. If you have the right person on your team and working on your behalf, you can definitely have things of that nature removed from your credit.
And that's basically what you do. But let's just start with that 7 to 10. Mm-hmm. If you have a judgment sitting on your credit for 7 to 10 years, what could that hinder? How can that work against you going forward in life?
Well, it can hinder you in multiple ways. For the simple fact that anything that's on your credit, whether it's credit or an eviction, when banks are going to consider you to lend money, they look at everything. They look at your credit history. They look at how you pay your bills.
Okay.
Because they want to know, if I give so and so this $17,000, am I going to get my money back? Mm-hmm. So, and they make that judgment based upon how you paid other people back or how you paid other bills. So if you have an eviction that's sitting on your credit report for 7 to 10 years, that's something they're going to look at. That's something they're going to make them go, But that can also hinder you from getting car insurance, life insurance, any type of insurance. It can also hinder you from getting into another place. Because we are in 2021 now, and everybody's wants to run your credit. No one wants to get scammed, and so they're looking at all these things.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So they're looking at how you pay your bills. So let's just say, I'm right now things are tight, mm-hmm. and I can't pay everybody, or I'm trying to pay everybody. Let's say I got 10 bills. Let's create a scenario. I got 10 bills in front of me, and I'm trying to at least pay everybody. Mm-hmm. What do you suggest?
Well, for those that what I would suggest, for those that you cannot get to, I would recommend giving them a call.
But I want to pay everybody. Let's say I want to pay everybody. I can't pay. Let's say I can't even pay. I can't, let's say each one is like $30. It's hypothetical. Sure. Each one is like $30. Should I try to pay the $30 and let 3 slide, or, try to meet that minimum payment? Would you suggest that?
I would, yes.
So how important is that minimum payment?
It's real important because that is what is going to be reported as the on-time payment. So, anything more, of course, will go to the total balance. But it's that minimum payment that they're looking for that marks your record as paid on time.
Okay.
And anything less than that, it wouldn't be counted.
So even if it's $30, but you pay $25, that's all you have, it's better that you don't even pay it because it's not even counted.
It's not even counted.
Wow, that's good to know right there. That's good to know.
Well, I should say it will count. It will go towards the balance.
Right.
It will still show as 30 days late or 60 days late or whatever, how long it takes to get that full minimum payment.
Mm-hmm. Now, I had a situation just recently for some particular reason. I don't think I got the bill. And so I just decided to call up the company because I knew, it was coming. I just couldn't remember in my head what date it was, but for some reason, I don't think that it came, or it came late or early, or I misplaced it. I don't know what it was. Hey, I'm human. But so I called the company and I said, hey, I have a good record. And so I don't know what happened. So I'm asking you, can you remove the late fee? Right? I've done that on several occasions. Talk to us about that and that relationship with our credit card companies.
Yeah, so it's very important that you do definitely have a relationship with them, because there may be a time where that happens, where you're a little bit late and you ask them to remove the late fee. As long as you're in communication with them, 9 times out of 10 they'll be more likely to work with you. It's when they have to chase you down. It's when they have to call you 90 times that they take away that grace, if you will. It is the same thing with if you miss a payment, you could actually give them a call and ask them. It's called a grace letter. You can actually call them and say, hey, I've never been late on any of my bills. COVID happened, or whatever it was. I just wasn't able to pay it on time. You received the money. Would you consider marking this as on time, even though it wasn't? And again, if you have that relationship with them, and you get the right person on the right day, it is a possibility that they can turn that 30-day late payment into an on-time payment.
Wow, that's
but again, it's all about communication.
Communication, right? And having a good track record.
Right. Now, if you're just late every month, it's
Exactly.
repetition procedure.
Okay.
But if it's just one, give them a call.
Okay. Now, your job is to repair credit. Is that your specialty?
Yes.
Okay.
Repair, restore. Yes.
Okay. So tell us what you do. I got debt coming out of my life is crazy, and I'm just spiraling out of control, and the bills are getting higher. And particularly at this time, I'm sure there's somebody that's looking and saying, I just don't know what to do. And we have people that say, hey, call this person, call that person, call this person. How do we know who's fake and who's legit? And then let's get to somebody like yourself.
Okay, well, I'll start with I'm legit. How do you know who's fake and who's legit? It's really hard to tell. Because there's really no measurement, if you will. So what I would say, before you contract with anybody or any company, do your research. If it's a reputable place, all you got to do is Google them. You'll get good reviews, bad reviews, and different reviews.
But how do we know? I mean, what we're gonna Google them? Suppose it's a fake ad. Like, how do we know people are legit? How do we know the reviews are legit? I mean, if they only got 3, does that mean that how does it work?
I guess in that case you really don't. It's a shot in the dark, unfortunately. But I would say this is one of the reasons why it's important that you also educate yourself on the process. So that you yourself have a little bit of knowledge of what's happening. So if something doesn't look right or sound right to you, you know enough to be able to call it out.
Like what? Like what couldn't look right or sound right? Like what? Give us an example.
Each case would be different, but let's just say it's that they've been working on it for 5 months and you've seen absolutely no progress.
Wow. Okay.
That in itself should be a red flag.
Okay.
In that the credit bureaus have 30 days to respond. So if you're not getting revised credit reports from the 3 credit agencies, then 9 times out of 10 something's going wrong.
Oh, okay. So if we're working with somebody and they don't have any feedback and we can't get in touch with them in 30 days, you know that something is not right. That's good to know. That's good to know. Okay, so now we need you. You come into play because you are the credit repair person. What can you do for us?
So what we do is that we help you do a couple of things. One, we help you restore. I don't like to use the word repair.
Okay.
Because when you repair something, you just put a Band-Aid on it. But when you restore something, you bring it back to its original state.
Oh, come on, preacher.
Yeah. So I like to say we do credit restoration because we like to make you whole again when it comes to your credit.
Okay.
So what we do is we help you delete certain things. Not everything is going to be able to be deleted off your credit, but we help you delete things that are inaccurate, that are obsolete, that are non-verifiable.
Okay, give us some examples so we'll know.
Sure. So something that's inaccurate is there's something on your credit that doesn't belong to you. You're a victim of identity theft. That's inaccurate information.
Okay, so stop right there. Let me interject.
Sure.
So, we have these 3 credit bureaus. It's mostly older folks on here, so everybody knows about those. But just shout them out really quickly so
Sure.
we know.
It's TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian.
Right. Okay, so how often should we check our credit report?
I would say at least once a year, but once a year is the industry standard, if you will, for checking your report.
And just go to each one. What's the process? What do we do?
So you're entitled to one report every year, free of charge.
Each one or just from one?
So one report that's encompassing of everything on all 3 bureaus. So it's going to come as one report, but it's going to encompass everything that's included in Experian, TransUnion.
Okay, so you're saying if I go to or Experian, it's going to give me everything from the other 2 as well?
No, there's a site that you can use. Don't quote me on the site, but I'll make sure I get it.
Okay.
Freecreditreport.com, I believe it is.
Which one?
I believe it's freecreditreport.com. That's one of the ones that you can use, where it's going to give you all of the information,
okay,
and the score from all 3 of the reporting agencies.
Okay, so now I'm going to go here. You said free credit report, but you're going to get back to me on it.
Yeah.
And let me know, later. I can just kind of put in the information.
There's a couple of them out there, but I believe that's the most common one.
Okay, and I just want to be sure about that, because I think that this is the time frame when you got somebody else who's fake with that same name, you know what I'm saying? But they kind of fake. Maybe, they are .net or how sometimes you're Googling something, it's a lot of ads, it's a lot of this and that, and listen, in this Google world, it's a lot going on. Right. So that's why I was asking you, how can you know that even the IRS, like people, they'll redo a whole site. You'll be surprised at what people will do. I just recently had somebody do something with the Cash App telling me that, some craziness they told me, trying to get me to click on it. So that's why I like to be clear with this information, and you'll verify the free credit report. But you can get on that one, and it'll give you all 3. We should do that once a year.
Once a year. Or I would suggest if you really want to be, cognizant about things, find a vendor that does credit monitoring, where you can monitor your credit. A good one that a lot of people use is Credit Karma. You can create a free account with Credit Karma.
Credit, how do you spell that? What is it?
Credit Karma with a K. Okay,
like karma coming back to you?
Karma, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a popular one out there. That's going to tell you everything that's on all 3 of your reports as well. I should take it back. It tells you 2 of the 3.
Creditkarma.com?
Yes.
Okay, so I just put that there. So give you 2 of them. Okay.
Yes. A lot of people use it like the Bible, but not realizing it's only 2 of the 3. But a lot of the times, most things are on all 3, but not always. So that's why we always tell you to at least pull that full detailed report once a year. That way you're getting information from all 3.
Okay, so now let's go here. We do see something on there that really doesn't belong to us. And this is how you can help us to recover and restore our credit. Because now, will we have a hard time trying to do it? And should we look for, companies such as yourself, or something we can do ourselves?
This is something you can do yourself. Not gonna lie to you. This is something you can really do yourself. But the question is, 2 things. Do you want to do it? And do you know how to do it?
Okay.
And the reason why I ask these 2 questions is it may not be as easy as just sending in a letter.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be worded in the proper proper way. It's got to have certain terminology, and it's going to take some time. So
this is where you come in at as the expert.
Right. We do it all. We do it all for you. All the legwork, I should say. We'll do all the legwork for you. We'll prepare letters for you. And the way that our program works, and we'll get into this in a moment if we have time. We present you with the letters, and all you have to do is mail them. And there's a reason for that. And a lot of people go to some of the larger organizations and larger law firms to have their credit repaired. And we're not going to drop names.
Sure.
We don't want no.
Right.
But what happens is that when a company does it, there are certain benefits that are not afforded to them that would be if you did it, you the individual. So the Fair Credit Reporting Act says that you as a consumer have the right to these certain things, that you have the right to dispute anything on your credit report, right? And then when you dispute it, you as the consumer have the right to have all three reporting agencies to investigate it and respond within 30 to 45 days. Mm-hmm. That's you as a consumer. As a third party doing it, you don't get those same benefits. So here's the thing. So if ABC Law Firm does it on your behalf and you give them power of attorney, and then the reporting agencies figure that out, you go on a stack of, in a pile on somebody's desk, and we'll get to it when we get to it. But if it's coming from you,
this is good.
They have to do it in a timely manner. And that time is 30 to 45 days.
And what you said is what's special about your company. What is it, Boss Man what?
Boss Man Credit Services.
Boss Man Credit Services.
Yes.
And
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just going to say, you guys write the letters, you send it to your client, basically we sign off and drop it in the mail.
That's correct.
You don't have to worry about the lingo because you provide all the lingo, all the bells and whistles, so they'll know, okay, I need to respond to this. I see what you're saying. I like it.
So we partner with a company that's called United Credit Educational Services, or UCES. We partner with them. That's where all the attorneys sit, and all the people that are going to write your letters. We partner with them. They do all the legwork for you, and then we just get it over to you so that you can mail it off. And even though we're doing the work, it appears as if it's coming from you, the consumer. In essence, it is.
Right.
We're just doing all the background work for you.
Right. I'm putting your website here, Bossman Credit Services with an S.
So I don't have an actual website at the moment, but I'm definitely on social media.
Oh, okay. So don't put in Bossman Credit Services here?
In Facebook you can, yes. But as an actual website, no. So we have a business page.
Oh, you have a business page on Facebook?
Facebook, yes.
But they can just contact you on Facebook.
That's correct.
I see what you're saying. Okay, I'll make sure I tag you. Okay, so let's just get into a couple of scenarios, and you guys get your questions ready if you have a question, because I know a lot of people have questions about, their credit. So we do want to get into that. But again, my credit is all jacked up. I contact you guys, and what you do is help me to restore, not just repair, but to restore my credit. And what is the goal? To try to get me, I know a lot of this has to do with your numbers and all of that, but what's the goal to get me where?
The goal is to get you to whatever your end goal is. So the real question is, why are you trying to repair your credit? Are you trying to buy a house? Are you trying to buy a car? Are you just looking for low interest rates? So that's the goal. The goal is to get you to where your actual goal is. And that could be done in many ways. It could be done with credit repair, or it could just be simple credit education. Because a lot of times there's a lot of people out there who don't need credit repair, but you need to know how to work your credit, when to use it, when not to use it, what to use it for, when not to use it for. Well, what, pay the minimum balance or pay a little bit more over the minimum balance to get your actual balance where it needs to be.
Okay, so give us some tips, having said that.
Okay, so I'll give the tip that we spoke about that blew the socks off.
Yes.
That was the 30%. The 30% underneath the balance. The limit of your credit card. So if you have a $500 credit card, right? So as a consumer, in order to maintain your credit score, you want to make sure.
And what do you want your credit score to be now? Where should you be with them numbers so that?
So with them numbers, I mean, good credit is between 700 and 800.
Okay.
650 to 700 is excellent credit is between 750 and 800. Good credit is between like 690 to like the sevens. Anything other than that is considered fair to low. But it's funny when you look at some of the matrix settings out there. Even though it may say that it is below, you'll see a notation that says for America this is actually average, and that's because a lot of us don't know how to work our credit.
Okay, so give us the tips. How do we work the credit to come? We want to get up into that 758 realm.
Okay, so your credit score is made up of multiple things, and how you do it is going to dictate where that number falls, because that number is an algorithm of multiple things, and one is your payment history. So whether it's a student loan or if it's a credit card, a car note, or whatever it is, it's very important that you make those payments on time. That is very important because that is a huge portion of what the banks are looking at, again, when they're considering loaning you money.
Mm-hmm.
So one is payment history. The second is the length of credit. So if you only had credit for 1 year and you paid everything on time, that's great. But however, because it's so limited, it really doesn't give the lenders a good snapshot of how you pay those bills. Mm-hmm. So if you've got credit, something that's been on your credit for 5 and 6 years, and the account is closed, you want to leave that on there, and it's positive. You don't want to work to get that removed because that's going to speak to your length of credit. Okay, this person has had credit for quite some time now. They've made payments on time. We may want to consider lending this person money.
So let me just interject real quick.
Sure.
I'm thinking to myself that basically what you're saying is these people sit behind a desk. They don't see your Facebook page. They don't see you dressed up when you go out. They don't check your Instagram. They don't care nothing about that. What they care about is the black and white.
That's right.
So it's not about a visual. They don't care what your hips and tips and all of that kind of stuff and how much muscles you got. You are visible to them with your numbers when they look at your credit history, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Got you.
That's the only question they're asking. Am I going to get my money back?
Okay. And they know that by how you basically, what's the word the Bible uses? How you are a steward over what you have.
That's correct. Yes.
Okay. What's your other tip? That's good.
So it's the 30%. Make sure you make those payments on time. Your utilization. Again, you want to be underneath that 30%. And if you're really, really trying
explain that so people understand what that is. Because I don't know.
The 30%
thing you were saying, yes.
Okay, so you're 30%. So again, that limit of $500. So my elementary math is poor. Whatever 30% of 500 is.
Okay, somebody tell us what 30% of 500 is, Cassandra. Tell us what that is. Maybe somewhere, maybe 175.
Yeah. Okay, let's call it 175. Okay, so let's say that it's 175. That's where you want that balance to be. No more than that. Now, if you really want to get that number up, try to keep it. We tell folks to keep 150. Thank you, William. We tell folks try to keep it 10%.
So what are you saying? When you pay the bill,
mm-hmm.
Is that what you're saying?
Even
if
when
you have a bill that's $500, don't just pay the minimum payment. Try to pay the 30%.
That's correct.
Okay.
Or don't use it over the 30%.
Oh, that's what I'm trying to get them to understand. We don't want to get confused here about what I'm saying. What you're saying is don't use it over 30%.
Right.
So
if you do, quickly pay it back down. before it's time to hit the credit report, which is once a month. So when it's due.
Okay, so if we're going to look at this scenario.
Sure.
I got a credit card for $500 or whatever. I want to put up a fence around my house. I go to Home Depot. I got a $500 limit or whatever, and I spent $450.
Yeah.
The bill comes in.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying to pay how much now? $450 of
450.
30%?
Yeah, $450.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you pay $450, and for the simple reason that you're just about maxed out, and you're $50 away from
maxing.
From maxing, so you might as well go and pay the whole balance off. But get it that if you can't do the $450, you want to get it down to $450 minus 150 is
$300.
$300. So get it down to $300 because that's where you need to be.
So pay $300.
Pay $300. Yes, that's going to put you back at that 30%.
So every time you're paying a bill, you want to at least be 30% below whatever the amount is.
Yes.
And why is that again?
Because anything over that 30% will tank your credit score. It'll drop your score because you're overusing your credit, or you're close to the amount of credit that's been loaned to you. You're at the ceiling.
So it's almost like what you're basically saying is it becomes a red flag to the company.
It does. This person uses a lot of credit. Why?
So now when you try to go somewhere else and try to get a credit card, they start looking at all them little red flags popping up saying, I don't know, because they're going to be spending, and they always going to be maxing. Mm-hmm. Okay, so even with this credit restore, it goes right back to what Parker was saying, the bond lady, in regard to relationships and knowing who you getting involved with and seeing how they spend money, because their problem can do what? Become
your problem.
Your problem. Wow. Okay, well, let's move into these problems. Let's say we got a married couple and, one of the persons in the relationship has really, really bad credit. When do people come to you?
Normally when they're trying to actually reach a goal. So
like what? A house or a
house or car, or they went to apply for a credit card and they were denied.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking. So you couldn't get what you wanted, so you realize I'm gonna have to fix my credit so I can get this. So this is why people, for the most part, that's why you in business.
Yes.
Let me jump in here, and I know I'm kind of saying a lot here. We got a lot of ministry people here. Do you have pastors that come to you?
Absolutely.
Trying to buy buildings and.
I've got two pastors.
Okay, so just speak a little bit to that, to these ministry leaders that are here.
Sure.
How you can help them in regard to, say they take them on a church and the church got bad credit.
Yep. So, the church has bad credit. That's separate from your credit. However, if I can swing that for just a moment,
okay.
You're a new pastor. You're a new ministry. Your ministry doesn't have credit. A lot of times, you have to be a personal guarantor for whatever you're trying to purchase on behalf of the church. So let's say the church needs a new set of drums, and you want to get it on credit. You go to apply for credit in the church's name, but because there is no credit, you can't get credit. But you can't get credit because you ain't got no credit. So a lot of times what these lenders will say, well, okay, we need a co-signer, if you will, or a guarantor. So what that means is that they're going to give you credit in the church's name, but somebody needs to back that up.
Right. That's the pastor usually signs.
Yes, the pastor, or maybe one of the deacons, or a minister. And then what they do in that instance is they look at your credit and see how you pay your bills, and then that's going to make a determination on whether.
I got to jump back in here again because that means that says a lot to me about your board. You setting up your church and your board and all of that. You don't want to have people on there that have bad credit, because when they start running their name, then the credit company don't want to give you no money.
Right.
Okay, because you ain't tight on what you're doing. So that's a very powerful point. But people can still come to you, right? You are the credit man. We had the bond lady and the credit man. So
I'll take it.
They come to you and you help them, with the lingo.
Get it together.
And how long could that process? Let's say I got $50,000 in debt, and I'm just trying to work it out. What that time frame look like?
It's really hard to say, and that's because everybody's situation is
right.
Different. I have seen on average, you should start to see results within 30 days. Now, that doesn't mean that you go from a 450 to 800 in 30 days.
Right.
But you'll start to see a change in your credit. Those things that can drop off will drop off. Those things that, can be updated will get updated. Because sometimes your credit just needs to be updated. In terms of it has inaccurate balances. So you've paid something down, but it never got reported to the agency. So it looks like you got more debt than you really do.
And this is where you come in at, like when
right.
So you pull in the report, or they're pulling the report?
It can be either way. We recommend that they pull the report as well. We're going to pull it, but we recommend that they pull it as well. That way they're knowledgeable of what they're walking in.
Right.
With.
And then they come to you, and then basically you put a plan together. This is the problem. This is what we need to do.
That's correct.
How are we going to fix it? And would you say that the most important thing is that they have to be consistent in paying
those bills on time?
That's the key
thing. I think it's either 30 or 35% of what makes up that credit score is those on-time payments. So those on-time payments are key.
Let's just shift here for the next few minutes. Let's talk about young people. You got young people coming out of college, young people in a lot of these churches and stuff, because somebody may want to bring you in, talk to the young people, because oftentimes young people don't think about credit. They just think, I'm going to Zara, I'm going to H&M, they gave me a card, I'm going to buy me a car. What are some safeguards that you would share with young people in regard to credit? Besides, don't use it.
Don't use it. Credit is good, but here's a I think this is a tip that will be helpful. If you don't actually have the cash to pay for it, then don't get it on credit. See, credit is not supposed to replace cash, but credit is there. It really should be. It's for the major purchases, your homes, your cars, and then we like to tell folks to have at least about $10,000 worth of credit available to you. Especially if you are a homeowner,
right.
or if you are, a pastor. The boiler goes in the church. You got credit to pay for it. It don't have to come out the general fund. It don't cripple the entire church in one day.
Right.
But to go to Zara, to go to I don't know what places, but to go to H&M and all these other places, swipe. That's not the intention of credit.
So having said that, would you suggest to young people that they use their debit cards more?
I suggest you use a combination of both, because to not have credit at all is also a bad thing. It's more harmful to have no credit than it is to have bad credit. So, as a young person, just starting out, sure, get a credit card, with $500 to $300 limit, something that you can manage, and make a few purchases, and then begin to build that credit history. That's what you want to do as starting out. You want to be able to build a positive credit history. And you can't do that if you're getting stuff that you just can't afford.
Right.
That bill's going to come in and it's just going to get thrown to the side because you can't pay it.
And then later on in life, when you really get yourself together and you want to buy a car or something like that, then it's hard because you need credit restoration. You got to call the credit man. Okay, we're going to be wrapping up in a few minutes, but Darren, talk to a person out there who may be struggling right now. Again, who may be looking at us and at their wits' end, just got bills and bills and bills and bills and don't know what to do. You're all the way in Massachusetts. Tell them, how can they reach them? Is the phone available? Are you open? Can you give them hope? Can you restore their life? Talk to that person.
Absolutely. We can definitely restore your situation, help you restore your life. And notice that I'm saying that we can help you. So we're not the end all. once we get you into a better place, and this is where phase 2 of our program comes at. We're also teaching you how to maintain it. So we have other tools that you can use, such as a budgeting tool, and budget's key when it comes to credit.
Yes.
You got to know how to budget yourself. There is a debt collector. It's a debt collector. So you're trying to pay down some debt. You're going to plug everything in. It's going to tell you what to pay, how much to pay, and help you get that debt paid down. These are some of the tools that we can help you with restoring your credit and your credit score. In addition to the credit restoration, that's only one piece. But then there's maintain it. So the process, you got to be committed to it. If you're trying to reach that end goal or whatever that end goal is, you got to be committed to the process. If I can go back to earlier's life, you got to make that decision to want to do this and see this out. So yes, there may be some hiccups in the road. It may get a little rocky. It may not happen as fast as you want it to happen. I often say it didn't take you to overnight to ruin the credit. It's not going to be repaired overnight. And that's a misconception that we have as consumers, is that, we're just going to go to credit restoration company and they're going to fix it and bam, there it is. It may take time.
Right. I just thought about this when you were just talking about that in regard to couples. Do you have couples that are coming in, because they realize they really need some help? And what other services do you guys offer? Oftentimes I hear about credit modification, loans, and do you guys do all that stuff too, or just basically restoration?
So we're basically restoration and education.
Okay.
And the tools that we have is the educational portion of it, of teaching you how to budget, teaching you the tips and tricks to keep that score where it needs to be. Credit loans and things, that's a whole different department, a different area. That's not what our focus isn't there. Expertise, I should say, not focus.
And so if somebody wants you to come to their class, or maybe come on a Zoom or something like that and share this information, would you be willing to do all of that?
Absolutely.
Okay, so we're going to put your information up as well. And lastly, I'm sure we're going to ask people if they have a question before we end, but I'm thinking that they may want to know, how much does it cost to get started if they need some help?
Sure. So
what do those fees look like?
So the fees are not, well, I shouldn't say not high at all, because everybody's budget is different. But it's not what you think it is. So honestly, it's $89 a month.
Oh, okay.
It is a monthly fee, and the reason for that is because it's not going to happen overnight. And we fight. You'll have access to attorneys if you need to. We'll fight to get you to where you want to be. And again, sometimes that is a process.
Right. Okay. So the $89 covers all of the logistics. Okay. So you don't have to be running here, there, and everywhere trying to get it done, because everything is getting done in-house. So, they're going to cover you and make sure that you're good.
Yep. Only place you're running to is the post office.
I like it. That's good. He said the only place you're running to is the post office, and you're running them bills down. Yeah. Praise the Lord. This was really, really good. Does anybody have any questions? I appreciate you guys hanging in there and watching. We're going to wrap up, but does anybody have a question to ask the credit restore man? We are not repairing. We are restoring your credit. Get your life back. How about that slogan? Get your life back. Anybody have a question before we close out? This was really good. I'm glad we got a chance to put this out here. And I appreciate people just tapping the share button to share with anybody that may be interested or have some questions. And again, you got churches, a lot is going to be happening. Remember, you have the bond lady and you have the credit restore man. So if you need them to come in and come on your webinar or come to your church or whatever you need to do, all you got to do is hit them up on Facebook. So, make sure you see Darren Anderson's name and follow him on Facebook. Any questions? I don't see anything, but I know oftentimes Facebook has a lag. So yeah, that's why I just talk a little bit. But If we don't have anything, I'm just going to see. Did you have any final remarks that you wanted to say? I appreciate you coming on this Friday night. This was great information.
I just wanted to say thank you for the opportunity to be able to present to your audience, if you will.
Yeah.
But just be diligent about your credit. I mean, I feel like that we are getting ready to enter into a season to where it is becoming our time to be able to own.
Mm-hmm.
We've been renting, we've been borrowing, we've been robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like this year is our. I feel like this is our season. But in order for it to be our
the land, if you
right, exactly. But we need to be ready.
Ready, right.
We cannot be like those 5 foolish women. I don't want to be churchy, but
right.
5 foolish women. They were not ready, so the opportunity passed them by because they weren't ready. So we don't want to wait till the opportunity to purchase, to own, presents us, and then we're scrambling to get ready.
Right.
Now is the time to get ready so that when the opportunity comes, you're ready to pull the trigger.
So if you have any problems, you pull your credit.
Pull your credit, yeah. Do it now.
Do you think at the beginning of the year is a good time to pull your credit?
Anytime's a good time to pull your credit. Honestly.
Oh, okay. I mean, I don't know.
It doesn't matter when you pull it, but again, anytime is good, but you want to make sure that you know what's going on with your stuff. So that when you go, when you get to that closing table, nothing's creeping up on you. There's that, excuse me, that bill from 20 years ago that you totally forgot about or didn't know anything about. You don't want that creeping up on you at the signing table.
Absolutely.
So that's why it's good to get ahead of these things now, so that when guys get ready to move,
pull the credit
move with them.
And at Free Credit Report, you'll double check that. But if you pull it there, you'll get all 3 and you know exactly what's going on. And I like the fact that you guys will pull it anyway, but you're basically telling the client, I want you to pull it because I want you to see what you did, what's going on, and where your problem areas are, the pain points. You shopping too much over there at Neiman's or something. This is your problem. This is good. Sharon is asking about the $12, the $89 a month.
Yeah.
Is it for 12 months or is it each month?
It's each month. But we have a no commitment. So it's no contract. So let's say after 3 months, you say this just isn't working for me, you simply cancel your services.
Oh, okay. And then you're on your own and you figure it out on your own.
Yes.
Okay, that's good. That's good. And they'll be able to go to the website. You said your name isn't on the website, but they can go to the website.
Yeah. So if they can go to our business page, my name's on the business page on Facebook, or they can just give me a call at 774. I just draw a blank what my phone number is.
I'll put your number here. 774
223-0761.
223
0761.
61?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm put hold on.
It's not often I call myself.
Credit was restore expert. Okay, Darren Anderson. This is really good. So now you all have it right here. You have, Parker put her stuff up there. This is really good information. I don't think that we talk enough about this. We know that people are in our churches and they're struggling and they're having problems. And like I said, people have been hiding in the pews, but now they're hiding behind a screen. And I just honestly believe that when all of this is done and over with the pandemic, we're going to be bombarded with a lot of issues. And so, I thank God that he gave me this idea to have this, because if they want to get a jump start on it now, at least, there is hope. That's the key thing, that there is hope for anybody that needs